Season 49, war number 7, and we are up against BÅLT, and this time my team will be White Tiger, Silk and Sunspot. I will be taking path 7 in section 1, path 6 in section 2, and then I will be taking a Serpent, Onslaught, Corvus Glaive, Sassy and Thing miniboss, along with that Bullseye boss there using Sunspot. So a full war for me, and I am very aware that this video is coming out very late, but at this point I don't really care, I just want to get them out at the very least before the next season starts. Now starting off here we have a Jabari Panther on the second wind damage reflection and special burst lockdown, and I will be taking this fight with White Tiger. Now essentially the reason why I'm using White Tiger is because she doesn't really inflict any debuffs on her own, other than the bleeding on the special 2, but that's fine, and that means that the cleanses that this Jabari Panther will get will never really, well, cleanse any debuffs, and the damage reflection will not be a problem. Now, Jabari Panther is a tactic champion, so White Tiger also sorts that out with the attacker tactic, and that's about all there is to this fight. I am free to use my own specials so long as Jabari Panther does not have her cleanse passive active, and basically just doing a full combo ensures that any cleanses on her will run out before you throw the special. Then we have an absorbing man on the second wind damage reflection and whatever else this node had on, and I'm taking this fight with Silk. Now, Silk isn't really the greatest option for this, well, this node in general, due to the physical resistance node cutting down on her damage quite a lot. That combined with Absorbing Man's own physical resistance while in the Uru form, and her damage output while not landing criticals is not great. However, whenever I land criticals, I bypass the majority of the opponent's armor and resistances, so you can see those doing quite big chunks to him, and overall this is just basically an absorbing man with no nodes. Silk doesn't really have any issues with him, and all you gotta do yourself is to just manage his morphs well enough. Now, I probably could have gone for the special 3 rotation and been done with it as well, but due to the reliance on crits there to bypass the resistances, I didn't really feel comfortable doing that. Now next up we have a Bishop on the prowess build up unblockable and superior specials node, and I'm taking the fight with Silk. Plan for this one is to just never bait a single special, just get the special 3 as soon as possible, and the special 3 rotation will handle this guy without any issues. To make the fight simpler and I guess faster as well, I did use an advanced power boost, and that basically means, well, there is no risk of having to eat any specials from this guy, and even if you threw any, including the special 1, it wouldn't be enough to kill Silk, especially with her auto evade ensuring that you do not eat any hits of any of his specials. Now the fight went down, simple enough. Honestly, the special 3 rotation, as I have showcased before, can take basically any defender in war so long as they are not stun immune, so these fights, they are going down pretty quickly. Then next up we have an Chavez here on the passively special and prowess build up unblockable nodes, and I'm taking the fight with Silk. Game plan was to do the special 3 rotation, but it's an Chavez, she isn't too tanky. I have a class advantage here, so the special 2 should be good enough here to simply just nuke the fight down. The special 2 alone wasn't enough, but a quick special 1 to follow, and down she goes, no issues there at all. Now the placement of Chavez there was a little bit questionable, but I guess you wouldn't expect Silk to be the first option for the Bishop, so yeah, I guess it's not that surprising after all. Either way, next up we have a Serpent here on the right back at it and a Banfo knockdown miniboss node, and I'm taking the fight with White Tiger. I do have the White Magneto pre-fight active to help me out with passive stuns during the debuff immunity, as well as the damage increase from the pre-fight is nice to have, but neither of those are really necessary for her to be able to take this fight. the game plan here is to just get a couple special ones off early to ramp up all of those 5 Fury buffs, and then just, well, try to get him down as quickly as possible, not letting him ramp up any of those aggression prowess passives, and just spam specials, keep knocking him down to get the protection down, and repeat until the fight is done, essentially. Now, usually, before when I have taken this fight, I've gone straight to special 2s and spammed those, but I figured since the special 1 gives you more furies and your basic attacks are one of your, well, better sources of damage here, I figured the special 1 should be the way to go. And as we can see, that was probably the right call. Usually at this point I've lost way more health than I have at this point, so I would say it is working. Now this Serpent is a 7-star, so there is one thing that's actually good about that, and that is no cheat death mechanic at the end of the fight, so no need to deal with that. If he was awakened, well, it wouldn't really be a problem, since the tactic process also shut down the opponent's ability power rate, so all it would do is just heal him up a little bit, but the power gain would be completely under control. Then we have an Onslaught on the Scared Stiff and Power Focus 2 miniboss node along with Bubble Shield, and I'm taking the fight with Silk. As you can probably guess, my game plan is to just get to a special 3 and then the fight is done. While getting there, I might need to bait a couple specials due to the Power Focus node, but that's not an issue. I'm fairly comfortable full decks in both of his specials, and if I somehow miss either one of them, Silk's auto evade is always there to save you. He throws the special 2 here, reversed controls, but I get the full decks, and now at a special 3 the fight is done. All he can really do at this point is just do some more cheap damage with the neuroshocks, but that's about it. As long as I don't drop my combo horribly, the fight is over, and even then, a special 2 from him, once again I have the evade, I would be fine either way. Onslaught goes down, less than a minute, and only taking some cheap damage from the neuroshocks, but that's almost unavoidable with basically any champion. Now I will go ahead and heal up White Tiger here, since the next fight will be a hazard shield fight, which isn't really something you would normally use someone who's not immune to the debuffs for, but we'll see how she does. So next up we have a Corvus Glaive on the hazard shield shock and bleed node along with Conflictor, and I'm taking the fight with White Tiger. I do have a couple Odin pre-fights here, mainly the shock resistance, helping you with those shock debuffs, and also the aptitude to make my Furies stronger. Now, out of those pre-fights, the shock resistance is definitely the more important one, but I think this fight should be possible without it, but I didn't really want to risk trying that out. So essentially, the game plan is to just keep the tactic process up and then mainly hit Corvus during the shock phase. White Tiger doesn't have any protection against the bleed debuffs, except her, I believe, 20% chance to shrug off the opponent's damaging debuffs for each unique buff they have, and Corvus has the permanent true accuracy buff, so that gives you a small chance to shrug them off. I wouldn't really consider that a reliable strategy, so only hitting during the shock phase it is. Corvus himself, not a difficult defender at all, and at this point the fight is already done. He didn't really get to do much, though if you somehow do miss a dex on his specials, it does hurt quite a bit, even though defending Corvuses don't have any charges to start off with. If they did, he would be a lot more threatening, but even then, his animations are simple enough to deal with. And now I'm just quickly throwing on the Science power back boosts, since the next fight I'm taking was one that I hadn't done before, and I was a little bit nervous about it. And that is a Sasquatch on the power efficiency and missing in action miniboss node, and you guessed it, I will be using Silk for it. Threw on an invulnerability boost just in case, since the amount of specials this guy has and the fact that he doesn't really consume any power to use them during the Wrath, having the invulnerability on for the special 3s, which he will likely get to at least some point in this fight, is a nice safety net to have. Now essentially my game plan is to just play it slow, not use any specials to start off with, let him trigger the Wrath whenever he feels like it. Before that I'm just gonna be using special, or rather basic attacks to whittle him down slowly but surely. Probably butchered that word, but that's fine. So once the Wrath triggers, this guy will not be consuming any of his own power whenever he uses specials. So what do? I just dex them over and over and over again, avoid them, slowly but surely get cornered myself, keep baiting heavies or specials or whatever he wants to throw, and once the Wrath is over, he can now be stunned again, so I will go for the special 3 rotation. Right after the Wrath, he doesn't have any damage reduction from the rage stacks, I believe that's what they're called on him, so your damage output will be the same as it would normally be. Now another bonus for having to do the rotation after the Wrath trigger is that he will not be able to trigger Wrath in time in the middle of your rotation at least, so it is completely safe to do. He will not suddenly go stun immune in the middle of it all. Overall the fight was quite simple and the invulnerability boost was wasted, but whenever I test new matchups it is better to be safe than sorry, I guess. Then we have a thing here on the brute force, stun reflection and block out power mini boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Sunspot. Now this fight is quite simple, all I gotta do is just use basic attacks to take him down. It's a slow fight, but quite a safe one at that. Essentially all the incinerate debuffs will put the stun reflection node on cooldown, so I am allowed to parry whenever, well, it's down, and then that's honestly just about it. It will just be a big thing that you gotta take down without really a proper counter, so manage those rock stacks, keep an eye on the stun reflection node, and that's about all there is to it. The brute force node is definitely annoying here, but as long as thing isn't being too annoying, keeping the degen off of you shouldn't really be a problem. Now I will not be using any specials other than the special 3, and with that I will be saving it for when I am about to run out of those flare charges. I think that's what they are called as well. I really should have read up on all of these ability names before recording this video, or at least taking time to do it while recording, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm already too late with these videos, so I can't delay them any longer. So now that I am about to run out, I will just go ahead and bait a special here once again to make him consume the rock stacks, and then a special 3 to replenish the charges so I can continue inflicting incinerates. The special 3 does some okay damage, but nothing crazy, so yeah, actually that was kinda sad, to be honest. Either way, the special 3 itself does also inflict an incinerate debuff, putting the stun reflection on cooldown if it was not already, well, on cooldown. So you will be able to then parry him immediately afterwards. Now the fight's been going on for roughly 2 minutes and I'm running out of things to yap about, so I guess I'll just let the fight play out, and yeah, there's not much else to really say about this one. Never mind, I lied. I did actually get comboed here at the very end, and the invulnerability boost that I used against the Sassy did actually come in handy and potentially saved me from a death here. So the boost wasn't wasted after all, and that's, well, nice, I guess. It's a silver lining, if anything. Then we have the final fight of the war, a Bullseye boss that I will be taking with Sunspot. Now as for the pre-fights, I do have a White Magneto pre-fight as well as the Horseman of Apocalypse, making me completely resistant to the instant bleed that Bullseye has, which basically means that the only real defensive threat left is the Killer Instinct auto evade as well as the crits through the block, both of which Sunspot can deal with pretty easily. Now the strat here is to use an advanced power boost to get a special 1 off early, get some more prowess for your special 2s, then just climb up to special 2 and, well, the power back boosts will handle the rest. One special 2 here, I get 2 crits, immediately up to another special 2, I get an opening with a heavy there from Bullseye, another special 2, I think that was a single crit, didn't quite get me up to a special 2, but blocking this special 1 did, so once again, bait an opening, drop the special 2, 1 crit, Bullseye's left at 7%, I am almost out of charges myself, but I just managed to get a single hit in the special 2 in with the prowess left, and down he goes in just over a minute. Overall, that is probably the best Bullseye fight I have had, or rather Bullseye boss fight, and Sunspot, definitely one of my favorite options so far against any Bullseyes, so probably we'll see that again later in the season, I can't actually remember. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 17-5, so a pretty good war considering we had to scrap together a full team to close out the season, so honestly, can't complain about that.